What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Live with Brandon Blakeney podcast. Of course, I am your host, Brandon Blakeney, aka Brandon Lee TV. You know I got another banger for you, so kick back, relax, and come take a ride with me.
You are now locked into the Live with Brandon Blakeney podcast. Here is your host, Brandon Blakeney.
College basketball season tips off in just 3 days, folks. It is going down. Where is the time gone? It just seems like just yesterday we were watching Caitlin Clark and South Carolina battle it out for a national title versus each other. But now we are in for another great season of college basketball, man. A lot of storylines, a lot of conference realignment, a lot of transfers, and a lot of good freshmen coming in. On this episode, we're going to break down LSU's schedule. Now, some people are calling it soft, especially that non-conference schedule for the most part. And there are a whole lot of new faces that have been added to this group as well. But they still return most of their core, the big three this year, of course. Flau'Jae Johnson, Mikayla Williams, Aneesah Morrow. Definitely going to be a major part of their success this season for the Tigers. And I think they're going to be better than last year. LSU will kick off their season against Xavier, and that's Louisiana Lafayette. And then they got LSU Alexandria, both exhibition games on October 24th and the 30th. Their first regular season game will be against Eastern Kentucky. They got Northwestern State, Charleston Southern, Murray State, Troy, Tulane. No really big challenges there until they get to November 25th at the Baha Mar Hoops Pink Flamingo Championship. This is going to be their first legitimate test of the season. So LSU will be joined by NC State, Southern, and Washington. There is potential for LSU to match up with the NC State Wolfpack, a Final Four team last season, which would definitely be the biggest matchup on their schedule non-conference, without a doubt. So that will be interesting. If things work out, they could see NC State on November 27th. Then you got Central, Stanford, Grambling, Lafayette, Seton Hall, Illinois, and Albany. Nothing major there. And SEC is actually kind of light for them as well. Arkansas is definitely in rebuild mode. Auburn will be tough. That's a game they lost last year. They also added Talia Scott out of Arkansas, one of the top freshmen in the nation, averaged over 20 points a game. Vanderbilt is a program that's building. Tennessee starting a new legacy with a new coach. Florida brought in some talent. They returned a lot of talent. I actually think they could be a sleeper in the SEC. They got the juggernaut South Carolina, who Kim Mulkey has not beaten yet. We know that team is absolutely loaded. Texas A&M, and then they take on Reagan Beers and Oklahoma, the newcomers in the SEC. They got Mississippi State, Missouri, Tennessee. Texas will be a juggernaut matchup. You know, Rory Harmon's coming back off the injury. Madison Booker, they brought in Layla Filia. Georgia, Kentucky, Alabama, Ole Miss. Ole Miss always plays them tough. Alabama will be in rebuild mode themselves. And Kentucky, with Kenny Brooks and Georgia Moore starting a new chapter in his coaching career. Now, we mentioned there is going to be a lot of new faces, but the big three, of course, this team is going to revolve around Aneesah Morrow. Second leading scorer last year, averaged 16.4 points, 10 rebounds, 1.7 assists. Then you got Flau'Jae Johnson, who I think takes a major step next season, man. 14.9 points for her, 5.5 rebounds, 2.5 assists. I think that goes up. I think she has the ball in her hand more this year. I absolutely think Flau'Jae is going to take that next step in her junior year, be the lead guard for this team, more so the lead playmaker. I think her scoring is going to improve. The efficiency's there, shooting over 50% from the field. Like, she's already their best perimeter defender, but I think she does more of the playmaking role. I think she really creates more for others this season. I think we see her make that transition into like a true combo guard where they can put the ball in her hands and let her make plays. Then, of course, you got Mikayla Williams, 14.5 points, 4.9 rebounds, 2.9 assists per game. looking at it, Mikayla Williams, I wouldn't be shocked if she led this team in scoring this year. Aneesah Morrow is absolutely a walking mismatch, and I think she will be definitely in the running for SEC Player of the Year. Any three of these players, though, to be honest, could be the SEC Player of the Year. I wouldn't be surprised. I would be most surprised if Mikayla Williams won it, but I mean, I could see her having a really breakout year this year as well coming up, man, with her just being more efficient, being in better shape, staying healthy, and finding better shot selections, which, I mean, 47% from the field as a freshman is nothing to, snark your nose at or anything like that. But I think she'll become more efficient, and I know she's going to be working on transform. She has been working on transforming her body as well. So I'm expecting a big year from this big three, man, and there's not going to be much of a better big three than LSU, man. You'll be hard pressed. Samaya Smith, getting her back is going to be absolutely major. You're talking about 11.7 points per game, 7.6 rebounds. They missed her in the post. They suffered depth wise when Morrow or Flau'Jae got in foul trouble. Del Rosario had to come in, and man, she just didn't show us a whole lot in year one. But I'm expecting, Alea to come back better shape. I think she will come back with a more understanding of the pace and the physicality and the timing of Division I college women's basketball at this time. At 6'6", they cannot afford to not have her be dominant in the post. She is the biggest player on this roster, and they're by far, and they are absolutely going to need her to be blocking shots, grabbing rebounds, and when Flau'Jae or Mikayla or Poa is dropping off dimes in the lane, they need Del Rosario to finish. They need her to be more aware this season. The awareness has to be raised, more engaged, less fouls, and just get her moving a little bit better, man. Work on the footwork, getting up and down the court, and, I think she'll be fine. But looking at it, they brought in a lot of depth at the guard position. You got Kaylin Gilbert, who was a double-digit scorer and leading scorer at Arizona last year. Cheyenne Day Wilson, former freshman of the year in the ACC. Good defender. Both of them can shoot the basketball. Both of them can create off the bounce and put pressure on defenses. You still have Poa, Miracle Shepherd. Her and Flau'Jae on the wing is going to be an issue. You talk about lockdown defenders. That is going to be a tough duo to score on, I'm telling you right now. I love the depth. I love the holes that Coach Kim Mulkey addressed with this lineup, bringing in more firepower for the bench, bringing in more perimeter shooting, bringing in better perimeter defense as well, more athletes. They're going to be able to play really fast. Getting Smith back at 6'2" is going to be major. You bring in Jersey Wolfenbarger, who could be, a very versatile asset to this team at 6'5", can play on the perimeter, shoot the three like a big guard type of player. If they can unlock the full potential of the former McDonald's All-American, I'm excited for this group, though. But I think, and then, you bring in the freshman as well, Jada Richard, but I think Coach Kim Mulkey did a great job of bringing in more talent in the backcourt, more scoring, more firepower, because a lot fell on the big three last year, big four really last year, and it was times where they just looked gassed. So they'll have more depth, better defense. They couldn't guard the chair I was sitting in last season, so that will definitely, I think, be less of an issue this year. But they need the bigs. They need Smith. They need Rosario. They need Morrow, who can play the 3 or the 4. Probably will lead this team in rebounding. But they need these bigs to really step up, because they didn't bring in a lot of size in the recruiting port, like the transfer portal. They didn't bring in a lot of size, really, not a traditional big. And then you look at it, and, they only brought in a point guard with this new freshman class they got coming in. So they're going to need Smith to play big. They're going to need Morrow to remain aggressive. But Del Rosario, the season, depending on if they're a championship team or just a contender, could depend on how well Del Rosario takes that next step into her sophomore year. Just being 6'6", can she block shots? Can she be an intimidating force in the paint for them? Can she be a bully? Really, can she stay out of foul trouble? Can she get up and down the court better? Were her conditioning? Where she lacked in conditioning? Did they work on her conditioning? we got to wait and see. But I'm excited for this season. I definitely think the SEC is going to be a dogfight. I got LSU at third, though. I got them right behind South Carolina as well as Texas. And then I got LSU right there. Capable. They have the talent on paper to beat anybody in the SEC and make a run. I think, ceiling, I could see Elite Eight for this group if they really, really ball out. Final Four, championship maybe. You never know. When you got good guard play in March, you got a chance. That's all I'm going to say about that. But the SEC is going to be a gauntlet. But I think LSU has a chance to win it, win the SEC tournament, win the SEC regular season title. Now, it's going to be an uphill battle. They do not have the overall talent that I think South Carolina has, the depth-wise. Like, depth-wise, South Carolina got 12 players that could probably start for majority of the programs in the nation. So they're chasing them. Texas made some big splashes in the transfer portal as well, but Coach Kim Mulkey will have her group ready to play. I guarantee that. So we'll see how it goes. But y'all let me know how y'all feel in the comments about their season, over and under. Talk to me. That is a wrap for us. For all the latest and the greatest, I am Brandon Blakeney, a.k.a. Brandon Lee TV. Until next time, we out.